light. I discriminate between the world's illusion and that which resonates. Blessed intuition, wisdom through the heart. Guide me through my moments, keep me spiritually smart. Yeah, oh yeah.
So, good morning, Unity of Payson. I'm glad you're here this morning. I'm Reverend Neil Worthington, and it's a beautiful day out there, and I know it's wonderful to be together. That togetherness is a symbol, an emblem, a reality actually of our oneness and one expression of it. So as we gather this morning, let's take a moment to be quiet, to push aside everything that we think we have to do later in the day, to put aside all that has happened before, and be here now as we pray. God of all goodness, we are grateful. We are grateful for this beautiful day that we have. We are grateful for this holy time, for in many spiritual traditions, this is a holy time. For those of us, and many of us are, from a Christian spiritual tradition, we celebrate Holy Week and Easter. And may the sense of new life that comes with that, as we anticipate that day of resurrection, the day of new life, be with us always. For those celebrating Passover at this time, actually today, the remembrance of the Exodus, the freedom and the liberation of being passed over in terms of judgment. Blessings on those who celebrate in that way, and also within a couple of weeks Ramadan, that time when we when those of the Muslim faith explore their spiritual reflection, spiritual improvement, personal improvement, and a time of devotion and worship. So in this holy time for all of us, we remember where we came from. We remember who we are. And we look forward to the evolving and unfolding that will be a part of our spiritual experience. Again, we are grateful for love, for wisdom, for power that are gifts to us, and grateful for divine presence that is always with us, in us, through us, as us, and so it is. Amen.
Well, good morning, Unity of Payson. My name's Betty Daly, and I'm the host for this morning. We're glad that you could join us, and we'd like to take this time to greet anyone new. So if you have invited someone, please unmute and introduce your friend. And if not, and you're new, please just unmute yourself and let us greet you this morning. And I see we have one person, Susie. Would you like to unmute and introduce yourself for us?
Hi, guys. I'm Susie Michaels. I live up in Forks, Washington, and I don't have any Unity churches near me. So I just found you by looking on Unity's directory, trying to find somebody who had Zoom meetings to make it feel a little more in person than just watching it. So thank you for having me this morning.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. We do have lots of other events during the week, and we'll let you know a little bit more about that later on. You're more than welcome to join us for all of those also. And so if you would like to be informed on all of our upcoming events, you can go to unityofpayson.org, and there's a calendar there. Or you can leave your email address either in the chat or on the website, and you will get a weekly email detailing all of our activities that are going on. So with having said that, let's bless ourselves and bless anyone new and those people that have yet to find us together.
We love you.
Love you, we
bless
bless you, and we welcome you. Yes, so it is. And now we have our opening song, our wonderful Cinnamon Twist. We'll be singing John Denver's Farewell Andromeda.
Welcome to my morning, welcome to my day. I'm the one responsible, I made it just this way. To make myself some pictures, see what they might bring. I think I made it perfectly, I wouldn't change a thing. La la la, la 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 la, la la la, la 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 la. Welcome to my happiness, you know it makes me smile. Pleases me to have you here for just a little while. While we open up the spaces and try to break some chains. And if the truth is told, they will never come again. La la la, la 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 la, la la la, la 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 la. Welcome to my evening, closing of the day. You know I could try a million times and never find a better way to tell you that I love you. And all the songs I play are to thank you for allowing me in this lovely day you made. La la la, la 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 la, la la la, la 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 la. Welcome to your morning, welcome to your day. Yes, you're the one responsible, you made it just this way. To make yourself some pictures, see what they might bring. I think you made it perfectly, please don't change a thing. La la la, la 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 la, la la la, la 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 la, la la.
Well, and on to our gratitudes. We are really grateful that we have Cinnamon Twist in our community to record such beautiful music. So right off the bat, thank you for that. And we're also grateful for everyone that helps support Unity of Youth Payson with time, talents, treasures, and for all the activities that we still have ongoing in our community. And in this past week, of course, we had our daily morning coffee, weekdays, our Intenders Circle, that's on Thursdays, Rick and Neil's discussion groups, and boy, are those some lively discussions, and our midday meditation, which happens twice a month. And, you know, we're also really grateful that we do have this technology that we can connect with everybody, especially for, we keep getting more and more people from out of state. So yay for all of that, larger community. And we know that all of you also have things to be grateful for. And so at the end of service, when we unmute everyone, please give us your gratitudes. We'd love to hear from you. Unity is grounded in prayer and meditation. And you can leave a prayer request at our phone number there on the screen, 928-235-7142. We have trained prayer chaplains who will hold you in prayer for 30 days. And then I forward them on to Silent Unity, where they are prayed on for another 30 days. And you can also go to our website at unityofpayson.org and leave your prayer request there also. And our theme for this month that we are continuing is wisdom. I can handle any circumstance by tapping into the wisdom within me and all around me. Isn't that the truth? And our speaker today is Betty Bennett, licensed Unity teacher, and her talk title is Wisdom from Judgment to Discernment. Licensed Unity teacher Betty Bennett is a transformational life coach, inspirational speaker, and an experienced group facilitator and trainer. Her mission is to live inside out, to spend every day in gratitude, and to serve wherever spirit may lead. So we're glad that Betty is with us again this morning. And our metaphysical moment. Truth transcends our physical experience of life and our world. Please join me as we consider expressions in truth. And I slightly rewrote the daily word. I combined a couple of them. So word for today is Hosanna. As Neil's mentioned, it's Palm Sunday, and in celebration of when Jesus came into Jerusalem. So the energy of divine life renews me. This is the time of year we look to the Easter message for guidance. Taking my inspiration from Jesus's example, I embrace my Christ nature. In this season of new life, I step into what is my next step and release what no longer serves me. As I align myself, I am guided by the divine presence within. As I follow the path to spiritual freedom, I surrender myself to the flow, trusting my own unique path. And the quote, I am risen in divine consciousness, and I give thanks. You know, and we were talking earlier here as people were gathering about what a glorious couple of days we've had after a week of rain and snow. And so it was so wonderful to step outside and see new life emerging from the ground. And it is a time to reflect on what are we open to receiving, opening up our hearts and letting go of perhaps what no longer serves us. And I just encourage everyone to hold that in your heart as we move through the spring season of just welcoming everything that adds to your deeper connection to spirit and to the knowledge that we are all one. So, and now Betty Bennett will share her words of wisdom with us.
So good morning, everyone. I'm happy as always to be back here with you. And we are still talking this week about the spiritual power of wisdom. And in Unity, we sometimes use other names for this. We also use the terms judgment and discernment. So as I worked on this talk, I realized that the whole idea of the spiritual power of wisdom is really about a trip we take on a continuum from judgment to discernment. It's a path, and I believe that path reflects where we are in our spiritual growth. I believe it contains 5 elements and perhaps is a circle rather than a straight line because of the way we tend to jump from, hold on just a minute. Tom, when you did that, I lost something here. Hold on. Okay. So I believe it contains 5 elements and perhaps is a circle rather than a straight line because of the way we tend to jump from one to the other in our human experience. And the elements of the power of wisdom, I believe, are these 5. Being judgmental, judgment, wisdom, discernment without understanding, and discernment with understanding. And I can definitely track in my own life a path around and across the circle. I have experienced all of them, either as I used them or was the receiver of them. And okay, since we all move from place to place in this wisdom continuum all the time, I'm just going to pick a starting place, and I'm basing it on my own spiritual journey. I was born into a family of mainstream Christians and to a mother who was an avid churchgoer. I began being at church every time the doors opened, literally in the womb. And I continued that pretty much into my mid-20s until a series of events caused me to ask a lot of questions and finally and eventually move on. So the way I have come to describe that experience is as being quite judgmental and negative, even though I am extremely grateful for the values and the sense of security it gave me growing up. I have no regrets about growing up there in that place. But I say that this was judgmental and negative because it was based on seeing everyone as a wretched sinner, born in sin and helpless and hopeless to create a life of wholeness unless they performed a very specific series of actions. Some of them were based on sheer deprivation and shame, two things that I now believe never work well in forming a balanced, happy, spiritually fulfilling life. I was also encouraged to judge anyone who did not believe the way I believed as a hell-bound sinner who had not found the one true way to God. And the best thing I could do would be to convince them that they were wrong. And I was right always about this because it was the ultimate mission to save everyone from the place called hell. Well, I always had a couple of problems with this. First, that my God, who was the God of everything and who was by definition love, and they taught me that God was love, that God could be so small, elitist, and limiting and would just say, okay, you didn't get it right, into a dark place where you will burn forever. It was actually an irrational thought to me. It was a belief system based totally on fear, which I had aplenty. And though there was a lot of talk about love, there was a whole lot of shaming and judgment going on. This kind of judgment is about comparisons. It happens when we compare how people are to the way they should be and forget about love and compassion. It's sometimes subtle, but real. So you might say, as an example, she's very comfortable talking nonstop for 15 minutes. Or you can say, she can go on and on and on talking nonstop for 15 minutes. It can be subtle or not so subtle, but definitely a negative tone gives it away as being judgmental. And this is with friends. When we're talking about strangers, it's often no holds barred, like she could stand to lose some weight, or who picks his clothes for him? Doesn't he have a mirror? Being judgmental is not stating an opinion or even labeling something good or bad. Being judgmental is when, based on one quality of someone or something, you draw a conclusion about their entire nature, about all of their other qualities. You judge their wholeness based upon one aspect. And I see a lot of this going on these days from all sides. Okay, so that's the first one on the continuum, being judgmental. Now let's move around the circle to the next one, judgment. Now, how is this different? How is judgment different from being judgmental? Well, at this point in my spiritual evolution, I learned that there were plenty of assessments, evaluations, and decisions to be made that do require good judgment. We can't live without judgment. So why use up all that judging energy trying to decide what everyone else should be up to? This kind of judgment is about making decisions based upon having the best information possible. and relating it to your own set of beliefs and values. You may never check in with your source to use this kind of judgment, but it is less negative and more thoughtful than the previous judgmental state. If you have good judgment in this sense, you most likely give yourself time to think things through and don't make life's decisions in a time of crisis. You probably listen to your gut feelings or intuition. You learn from others. And if you're a spiritual truth seeker, you may check in with your divine source. This kind of judgment is used to choose worthy goals and set proper priorities, thinking through the consequences of your actions and basing your decisions on practical wisdom and good sense. Good judgment can be described as the act of critical thinking without discrimination. Next up on circle is spiritual wisdom. Sometimes, and in my case, after some practice and good judgment related to personal values and beliefs, we begin to understand that there are some absolute truths in the universe, some truths of wisdom, that a certain kind of wisdom exists that suggests a better way to live and assess the circumstances or people, places, and things in our lives than being judgmental, or even just using good common sense as in judgment. We start to know that there are good and not so good ways to be and live, and begin to try to live our lives according to the better ways. We make our judgments with real absolute wisdom. In the Bible, James 3:13 says, "Who is wise and understanding among you? Show by your good life that your works are done with gentleness, born of wisdom. The wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, willing to yield, full of mercy and good fruits, without a trace of partiality or hypocrisy." Wisdom, especially spiritual wisdom, is not just about knowing what's good for you, but applying that knowledge in your everyday life. It makes us think of the fifth unity principle, which in Ellen Davenport's version says, knowing and understanding the laws of life, also called truth, are not enough. A person must also live the truth he or she knows. So once we've crossed the wisdom line, we're into truly believing our beliefs when we make, truly living our beliefs when we make judgments. Charles Fillmore said in The 12 Powers of Man, "When we awaken to the reality of our being, we know the truth. We find our judgment faculty." In other words, once we become aware of the Christ consciousness, we start to make judgments based upon the power of spiritual wisdom. A wise person develops many qualities, such as love for what is good and true, humility, integrity, compassion, empathy, honesty, justice, and innocence. Throughout the history of every culture and religion, these are the qualities that have been recognized in people who are wise. So next on the continuum, being in a place of wisdom makes it easier for us to say that we are using discernment to make decisions and judgments in our life. The next stop on the circle is discernment. A simple definition of discernment is the ability to obtain sharp perceptions or to judge well. It can be psychological or moral in nature. The ability to grasp and comprehend something obscure. And on my circle, I've placed two types of discernment. Most people probably wouldn't do this, and I acknowledge I do it simply because of my personal experiences. But if we use discernment without spiritual understanding, which is that ability to gain direct perceptions of truth from the divine, then a big piece of the spiritual power of wisdom is missing. That's why If you ask someone how they came to a conclusion and their answer is discernment, and you know that they have left out a big part of the factual truth, then it's hard to believe that the divine had as big a part in their discernment as it could have. Because our God is a God of truth. So this is my story relating to the appearance of discernment, probably the first time I can recall in my life. And it happened several years back when I first came to Unity. And as a new Unity member, I was thrilled to be there. I was one of those super volunteers that sometimes frequently actually put in 20 hours of volunteer work a week. I loved every minute of it. I loved the people I worked with. I loved Unity. I was all in. I loved going to the church to do that work. It was a joy for me. After a few months, one of the ministers came to me and told me that there had been a huge, I remember as them saying a huge, but they may not have said that there had been a complaint about me relative to the project I was working on. And I was really surprised. You know how when you may have had a moment when you are not yourself and you are cranky and maybe you vented or you said some things that you wish later you hadn't, or you may have even apologized for some things that you said or did. But in that time frame, I absolutely was clueless. I could not bring to mind anything that would fit that description. So I asked who complained, and I was told that they had to protect their confidentiality. And so they didn't tell me who complained. And I asked what they complained about, and she wouldn't share that with me either. And by the way, this was a minister I adored. So coming from her, it was also really difficult. And so I asked how she came to this conclusion without hearing my side. And her answer was discernment. Now, that's the first time I had ever had discernment used relative to anything involving me. And right then and there, I decided and this is a hurtful thing, and it's not fair. And it took me some time. It took me some time to get over that feeling about discernment and even just the word discernment. So they took me off the project instantly. I, to this day, do not know why. I don't know who. I don't know anything about it. But here's the thing. Though you may be a very spiritual person, if you fail to engage with others in a loving, truthful, spiritual way, you may be leaving a step out of your discernment practice, complete integrity. This might be one of those times we talk about metaphysical malpractice. So even in that situation, all things work together for good, because I went on, I kept volunteering, I did other things, and I got over my hurt feelings. But the thing is, there may be hurt feelings we could have avoided by simply seeing every person involved as a child of God who deserves to be acknowledged and heard. So we come to the final stop on the wisdom continuum with spiritual. Let me try that again. The last stop on the wisdom continuum is discernment with spiritual understanding. This could be renamed the don't believe everything you hear spot. This is the one where you get all the information you can from everyone involved, plus guidance from your divine source. Several years ago, a blogger named Alan Smith received the following email message. Quote, "You have just received the West Virginia virus. As we have no programming experience, this virus works on the honor system. Please delete all the files from your hard drive and manually forward this virus to everyone on your mailing list. Thanks for your cooperation. West Virginia University Computer Engineering Department. Incidentally, feel free to substitute the state school of your choice when you pass this on to your friends." End quote. So Alan Smith thought this was quite humorous, and he passed it along to several of his friends. Shortly thereafter, he received the following message from one of them. "Done. Is that all?" Well, the thought that someone might take the joke seriously and follow his instructions caused him a moment of anxiety, but fortunately she did not erase any files and was just having some fun with him. But this does remind us to be even in writing and even from a trusted friend. John warned in 1 John 4:1, "Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they're from God. For many false prophets have gone out into the world." So real discernment in the mode of spiritual wisdom is judging things the way they really are. And the only true way to do that is to seek guidance from your spiritual GPS, your divine source. You seek to find the truth of the circumstance or of life by accessing your inner wisdom. The wisdom at your core being. I reasoned that we can't actually have the power of spiritual wisdom without seeking guidance from the adding the comparison factor or thinking about how things should be, but rather you seek God's truth in the matter. That's the kind of discernment we hope will be used when others interact with us, and therefore the kind we want to use with others. To use discernment with understanding, you must actually have a real conversation with people, not just post what you're thinking on Facebook and walk away. You have to ask thoughtful questions and listen to everyone's side of the story. Though we seem to be listening to people who are not like us, we must actually talk to them to see if we're getting it right, if we're really addressing their true grievances, and what would actually create a solution. There's the key. What would actually create a solution? For this type of discernment, in addition to checking in with others involved, checking in with the divine is mandatory. So have I experienced all these types of judgment and wisdom? Yes, as both the giver and the receiver. Do I always achieve discernment with understanding? Absolutely not. But I can tell you that I've reached a point where I can call myself out for it when I don't, and work always to get there. And my prayer for myself and for you is the same one Paul offered to the Philippians. May abound still more and more in knowledge and all discernment. In short, may we live and grow in spiritual wisdom. So let's listen now to the meditation song as we prepare to take this into meditation.
When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray.
Living, loving Spirit, we are so grateful for this day, this beautiful, beautiful day that we awoke to this morning. We're grateful for this service and everyone here and everyone we're connected to who isn't here, that we send out all of our love. And we thank you for the gift of spiritual wisdom, that we can access it, that we have total ability to use it anytime we choose. And we pray that we learn to use it in the best of ways, that we learn to use it with love, compassion, honesty, and justice. We pray that we are always open to the guidance, the inner guidance that's a part of us, that we tune in to what is always present. And so we go today from this place and we take all of this with us. We lose nothing when we leave each other today. We have all of this and more. And we are so, so grateful. And we ask full blessings and we receive our full blessings as we go out. And so it is. And so we let it be.
Thank you very much, Betty, for your words of wisdom. Now is our time for tithes and our offerings. You know, Unity of Payson is very grateful for all the support that we receive, because it's not just for our ministry, but we then tithe out to the larger community that we live in here in Payson. And so I'd like to have you just look in your heart and see what is yours to give. And the slide there on the screen gives you a couple different ways. You could either write a check and send it to the P.O. Box 2582, Payson 85547, or you can go to unityofpayson.org and go to the donate button. Either one is very much appreciated. And so as we listen to our offertory song, there is time to go and make your contributions. And so let's think of our gifts and hold them in our hearts and affirm, freely we give and freely we receive. and so the flow goes. And our offertory song is Let Your Life Lead You by Janice Danfield.
Every once in a while, I start losing my smile, and I say to myself, what's the deal? What exactly is the point? Getting all out of joint, not liking the way that I feel. Maybe I believe that it's all up to me, at the helm of this boat all alone, till some stormy detail takes the wind from my sail to remind me what I've always known. Ah, relax and let the river flow. Let your life teach you what you need to know. Let your life lead you where you need to go. Let your life teach you what you need to know. Let your life lead you where you need to go. If you're swimming upstream, chasing a dream, make sure that it comes from the heart. If you're fighting the tide for glory and fame, you might just be working too hard. Are you winning the race? Are you swimming in place and still falling further behind? There's a current below that knows where to go, might carry you to the peace of mind. Ah, relax and let the river flow. Let your life teach you what you need to know. Let your life lead you where you need to go. Let your life teach you what you need to know. Let your life lead you where you need to go. Relax and let the river flow. Let your life teach you what you need to know. Let your life lead you where you need to go. Let your life teach you what you need to know. Let your life lead you where you need to go.
Just relax and let the river flow. Should have a kayak on there. So now's the time for our dedication of offering. Together, divine love through us blesses and multiplies all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive. We are abundantly prosperous, and we give thanks. And on in April, we start a new theme, the theme of love. And our affirmation, an inexhaustible stream of divine love pours through me, blessing others and myself. Great affirmation. And our speaker next week will be our own Reverend Neil Worthington. Love is life. Life is love. Isn't that the truth? That's really the only frequency that really matters here in the universe. So, and now we have announcements, and I'll only read a few of them here, but I encourage you to go either to the website, unityofpayson.org, where there's a full calendar, or check the Monday email that Terry always sends out with all of the activities. So Rick's discussion group is ongoing Monday at 7:15, and it's the book Just One Thing. Awesome little book by Rick Hansen. And Reverend Neal's discussion group on the 4 agreements, really in-depth discussion last time. I was a little bit late joining, but really good discussion. And that's Thursday at 6:30, and that'll be ongoing from March 25th through April 22nd. And if you haven't joined in, you can jump in, or if you have questions about it, you can contact Neal at his email address right there on the screen. So,
Betty, let me forgive me for butting in.
absolutely.
Back to Monday night.
Yes.
We actually have moved it to 4 p.m.
Oh, good correction. Thank you so much for jumping in.
Yeah, and look forward to it. And if anyone, don't worry about not being part of the first part of it. I try to summarize everything. So just send me an email. I'm happy to catch you up today and tomorrow. So we'll see you at 4 o'clock tomorrow. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Rick, for the correction, and we'll get that slide fixed for next week. Thanks. And then there's also a note about Donna's upcoming class, Nonviolent Communication. The cutoff for registration is March 31st. So if you have not registered for that class and you want to, it'll be Tuesdays from 4 to 6, and it'll be 5 weeks long, from April 6th to May 4th. But you need to register by the 31st. And so Donna's phone number is 928-978-3299, or Dr. Donna st@gmail.com. So all of you that want to go, be sure you get registered. And PS from Neal. And you need to unmute.
Yeah, it works better when I do. Yes. Thank you, Betty. I would just emphasize again, if the class intrigues you, draws you, you haven't been there for prior sessions, each of these we can catch you up. It will have value for you, and we welcome you, even if you didn't get in on the absolute start. I'm sure that's true for Rick's class as well as mine. One of the things that's happening, we're starting something new at Unity of Payson. We're starting an Invite Sunday. I've had a vision for us being really invitational, really inviting in our community. And of course, we have many more opportunities now that we are virtual, and we can reach out not only to our local community, but beyond that, in fact, around the world. And so in line with that, the second Sunday of each month now will be an Invite Sunday. And we ask you to bring someone and introduce them to.
Well, we'll give Neal just a couple seconds here. We all know that internet can be a challenge here in Payson.
Eddie, did you see my text message on the chat?
About the book group?
No, I put another one. I wonder what happened to Neal too, I guess.
Yeah, okay. Well, just to re-emphasize what Neal was saying, that on the second Sunday, we are going to be inviting people. And so just put your mind around that and see who perhaps you've had some spiritual discussions with that might really enjoy coming here on Sunday morning. And so, Tom, let's go ahead and go on with our peace song.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that is meant to be, with God as creator, family are we. Now we walk with each other
And our prayer for protection.
The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
All truly is well. And I invite you all now to unmute yourselves, and we can greet each other or state what you are grateful for this morning. And Susie, if you, seeing as we didn't explain this earlier, you can either put your comments down in chat box or unmute and say hi to everybody.